Most roller coasters are good. When I ride a new coaster, I expect it to be good because most roller coasters have some sort of element or factor that is redeemable. However, there have been some coasters that have no qualities whatsoever, and those are the coasters that make it onto this list. This is only my stupid opinion, so if you disagree with anything I say, tell me in the comments. So, here are my top 10 least favorite roller coasters. Number 10 is Magnum XL 200. Okay, I know this coaster is a fan favorite for lots of people, but I didn't enjoy this coaster at all when I went to Cedar Point. The airtime was downright painful, and the transitions were nothing short of rough and jerky. While I absolutely love what it did for the roller coaster industry, I'd rather go ride something else. Number 9 is Blue Hawk. Blue Hawk is a Vekoma looping coaster at Six Flags Over Georgia, and while it is undoubtedly one of the most beautiful coasters in the park, it most certainly is not a good ride. I never rode it as Ninja, and if it was worse back then, I'm sorry for those of you who rode it. While the Vekoma vest restraints help with headbanging, the bumpiness of the track still leaves your vertebrae begging for mercy. Never before on a coaster has my back hurt so bad. They probably named it Blue Hawk because after you get off, you'll certainly be feeling blue. I know, I'm terrible. Number 8 is Jetstar 2. This is an extremely rare coaster that currently operates at Lagoon in Salt Lake City. There is also an extremely rare chance that I'll ever ride this again. There were hardly any restraints, which caused the already strange transitions to become almost unbearable. While it is cool to watch, it definitely is not a cool ride. Number 7 is Carolina Cyclone. Carolina Cyclone is an aero looping coaster that is at Carowinds. Not only does it have an extremely bland layout, but it's also rougher than a sandpaper massage. This coaster will make your head ricochet from side to side, and no, I'm not talking about the Ricochet Wild Mouse in the same park. That one is coming up later. I appreciate what this coaster did for the park, and I certainly don't hate aero. Carolina Gold Rusher in the same park is one of my favorite family coasters. Honestly, go ride Fury instead. It's only a few hundred feet from this coaster. Number 6 is Kitty Hawk. I didn't want to put any kids coasters on here, but this was just awful. When I went to Carowinds, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that Flying Ace Aerial Chase had been rethemed to Kitty Hawk after the Planet Snoopy expansion. I had no idea that it had changed, so I expected some retracking to make the ride more comfortable. Boy, was I wrong. The moment I left the station, I was greeted with tons of headbanging. I expected a nice family ride and instead got a visit to a chiropractor. The trains were not changed, and the harnesses used were made out of plastic that felt like concrete. Please skip out on this one if you don't want a car crash simulation. Number 5 is Wild Chipmunk. The fine folks at Lakeside were not kidding when they named this coaster. This rare wild mouse by Myler was one of the very first wild mice ever, and while it is over 50 years old, I can't help but compare it to a blender full of rocks. Wild mice can be enjoyable if you are properly restrained, but when you step into the strange bobsled-like cars of this coaster, there are no restraints. Yes, you are advised to put your feet forward and hold yourself back while traveling over switchbacks and drops. Your head is sure to hit the metal rim of the car, and if you are riding with another person, pray to God on the way up the lift. This is the second major coaster at Lakeside until the new coaster opens up, and Cyclone is one of the best woodies I've ridden. Make sure to go here for Cyclone, but skip out on this coaster. Number 4 is the Bat, and this isn't in reference to the air suspended coaster at Kings Island, it's in reference to the Abomination at Lagoon. Similar to Kitty Hawk, this coaster is also a junior suspended coaster by Vekoma. I made the worst decision of my life by sitting in the back row. I had heard awful things about the Cedar Fair junior suspended coasters, but this one couldn't be nearly as bad, right? This one turned out to be even worse than Kitty Hawk, giving extra painful punches in the back of your head and the lower back. If you aren't looking for spine realignment, don't ride this one head. Number 3 is Ricochet. This is one of 3 Wild Mouse coasters that I've done, and 2 are on this list. I don't know what it is about them, but I find lateral G's so uncomfortable and terrible. I usually ride these coasters last. This was my least favorite coaster at Carowinds, and Vortex nor Nighthawk will be on this list because I honestly thought both of them were very enjoyable. If I ever go to Carowinds again, this one I'll definitely skip out on. Number 2 is Corkscrew. My god, what a terrible coaster. Like Magnum XL 200, this ride certainly has its fans, but I will never understand why people like this coaster. The drop and loop are decent, but when the corkscrews hit, you'll be screaming in pain. I didn't expect this to be a torture device, but when I got off, I genuinely felt lightheaded because it hurt so bad. If I go back to Cedar Point, you can bet I'll be staying away from this garbage fire. The number 1 coaster on this list actually made me sit down for a while to recover. and that coaster would be the Great American Scream Machine at Six Flags Over Georgia. This coaster gives me nightmares. What a terrible ride. I rode this in 2015 for the first time and really enjoyed it, but then I rode it in 2016 and was screaming in pain during the drops in the airtime hills. There is truly not a single good part about this ride. Ever since they changed the trains, it's impossible to not sit on a wheel seat. Also, after your trip to the fiery pits of the underworld, the brakes knocked the air out of me. They stop so fast that the uncomfortable lap bar jabs you in the ribs. If you ride this, when you reach the end, stay quiet and you might hear a giant gasp as everyone is pushed forward. I would rather ride any other coaster on this list for an hour without getting off than ride this landfill of a ride one more time. I will never forget the pain I felt on this coaster. Ignore it completely if you ever go to Six Flags Over Georgia. Well, thanks for watching another one of my videos. I have plans for a huge project that I haven't seen anyone else do before, so stay tuned for that. Also, I have a Discord channel, Instagram, and Twitter, so make sure to go check those out. The first few people who join the Discord server will get mods, so click that link in the description. Have any video ideas that I should do? Comment them below. I hope you have the best day ever and that you get some vitamin A today. Bye!